To start off my presentation, I'm going to show about 30 seconds of a 1-minute video from the Cancer Research UK, and the video is titled Obesity and Cancer: How Can Extra Body Fat Cause Cancer? Basically, the beginning of the video shows how excess sugar consumption leads to obesity and other health problems, and then that will lead to cancer and other related illnesses. This is basically just to inform people on the negative side effects of sugar consumption and potentially the dangers of what it leads to. So to start, as an American citizen, it is very easy to understand the acceptance of sugar in our day-to-day lives. Sugar is easy to obtain and very affordable, making it something that big businesses can't get enough of. From our drinks to our everyday snacks, added sugar is almost unavoidable. But is everybody fully informed on the dangers of excess sugar consumption? My name is Dylan Wellbaum, and I'm here to inform Michigan legislators as to why sugar is linked to several different cancers, and I'm here to persuade these legislators that we need to promote the decrease of sugar consumption and increase legislation preventing it. So while sugar is such a common thing in our society, I'm here to tell you why the United States should implement these policies that decrease sugar consumption and promote healthier eating habits. So why is excess sugar consumption such a bad thing? We see it all the time in our society, and it's everywhere. So why is this such a bad thing, and why don't we know about it? While sugar is so common in our society, it is crucial that we take a look at the negative side effects that are also becoming so common in our society. So these are now not initial effects, but these are long-term effects that we don't necessarily look at. According to a briefing from the World Cancer Research Funds International titled Curbing Global Sugar Consumptions: Effective Food Policy Actions That Promote Healthy Diets and Tackle Obesity, which was published back in 2015, there is insignificant evidence to show a direct link between sugar and cancer. What does this mean? It means that based on our research, we can't show sugar directly leads to cancer, or cancer is a causing carcinogen, but research does show that that sugar does lead to obesity and overweight, which then does have a direct correlation with cancer. Research has established that there is an association between dietary sugar consumption and weight gain. Energy-dense foods such as sugar and fast foods contribute to weight gain, overweight, and obesity by producing excess energy intake, which means there's more sugar in our system than we need, and now is now stored as fat. Research analyzed from the World Cancer Research Fund International's Continuous Update Project, which is updated constantly even in 2020, shows that there's strong evidence that being overweight or obese increases the risk of 10 different cancers. Because sugar consumption is directly linked to overweight and obesity, this allows us to say that there is now an indirect correlation between sugar and cancer. Additionally, according to the Cancer Facts and Figures 2020 from the American Cancer Society website, which was last updated in 2020, cancer is the second most common cause of death in the United States, only second to heart disease, which is another negative side effect of overweight and obesity. To give you an idea how many cases there are in the United States, there were more than 16.9 million Americans living in the United States with a history of cancer, which means they've either had it or they're living with it. More than 1.8 million new cancer cases are expected to be diagnosed in 2020 based on statistics and historical value. And about 606,000 Americans are expected to die of cancer in 2020, which translate to about 1,660 deaths per day. In the end, this just explains the problem is much worse than we may have thought or maybe wanted to acknowledge. The negative side effects are coming in, and they will be something that will take over much later on in our life. It's not necessarily something that we look to. While not something that we can do something about immediately, we can start implementing changes to help set a better example for future generations, and by the time these future generations come, we are now a healthier society. In order to combat obesity levels in the United States, we need to implement policies that decrease sugar consumption. One example is we need to control how available sugary products are. One example of this working is the Shop Healthy New York City, which is a New York City Health Department initiative that aims to increase access to healthier foods and engage residents and organizations in supporting sustainable food retail charges in their community. This now comes into public stores like your Kroger's, your Meijer's, and it now almost pays them or promotes them to increase the stock of healthier alternatives and decrease the amount of sugar that they're selling and sugary products, which makes these healthier products more available. Secondly, we have to control how affordable these sugary products are by taxing their production and making them more expensive than healthier alternatives. We now have to look at how we can make healthier alternatives less expensive than these cheaper sugary products are. If we tax them, we make them more expensive, people are more likely to buy the cheaper, healthier alternatives now. Finally, we have to make people more aware of the sugar in products by mandating better labels. Just like nicotine products and cigarettes, they have labels that say warning, can cause cancer, can be addictive. Sugar can just be as addictive. We need to focus on promoting easier labels. Nobody knows how much a teaspoon is, but if we look at it and say, oh, this product contains 12 to 13 packets of sugar, like you would add in your coffee, now we can visualize that. And wait, whoa, that's crazy. This is a lot more than I realized because I'm not as informed. Just try to imagine in the United States 50 years from now. It's now the world that your grandchildren and their children live in. The world they live in promotes healthy, healthy lifestyles, and sugar is no longer needed in everyday products, and obesity isn't the pandemic that it once was. Because of their healthier lifestyles, new cancer cases have dropped, and other issues in our food and world are being explored. This one change in our society has now led to a place where the pursuit of happiness and health comes before the pursuit of profit. With the freedom of choice in our society and the ability to run a profitable business, there's no doubt that we live in one of the greatest nations in the world. With these freedoms comes choice. So please help make the healthy choice for future generations by limiting sugar consumptions through legislative action. Don't let profit come before what's best for our society. Look beyond what may taste good. Look towards what's best for the rest of society. In the end, limiting sugar consumption will allow American culture to be forever changed for the better. What are you willing to give up for a better future?